Hi, this is Jenny Brav, and today I wanted to talk about energetic sovereignty and how we know when we're in our own energetic integrity, how to know when we're not, different ways where we might disconnect and indicators of that. And I know for me, I've been getting a lot of messages recently that this is the phase I'm at after a lot of letting go and clearing of old patterns and feeling like I was in the death phase of death and rebirth for quite a long time, close to 2 years, I'd say. I finally feel like I'm in the rebirth pattern, and I've been guided to start calling back my power. And these things are not linear. And I do invite you, if you're going through this and it feels like you're not there yet, to maybe do some of the other videos that are in the description and then come back to this one when you get the sense that you're ready. And I believe that if you were called to watch this, then some part of you knows that this is where you're at right now. And so, first, let's feel into how we know that we're in our energetic sovereignty, even if we're not using those words. And you can feel into that for yourself. I'll give you a little space after this talking section. And for me, there are different indicators for that. One is just feeling flow and ease, both in my life and also internally, feeling flow of breath, feeling grounded, some clarity in my mind. Also feeling resiliency, that if external things happen and I get knocked off center, I find my way back fairly easily. Am able to bring loving attention to the wounded ones without believing the thoughts. And maybe sometimes, even though things are happening externally that are unexpected or jarring, I can separate from that and maintain a sense of internal groundedness. Also feeling balanced, feeling like there's a balance of giving and receiving, the ability to not take things so personally, to know what is mine, what is not, to have compassion for others and their experience without taking it on. And sometimes there are areas of our life where that's easier, and areas of our life that is where it is harder. It doesn't have to be consistent in all aspects, and it can vary from day to day based on our moods, if we've slept. And for me, on an energetic level, there are three main ways that we might lose our energetic sovereignty. And all of these, I mean, unless they're inherited or we came in with karmic baggage around this, most of us learned these patterns when we were young. I mean, most kids are connected to themselves, their emotions, naturally express them. And it's because of the reflection we get from our caregivers or events that happen that we start getting the message that it's not safe to fully be in our own integrity, or that there's some negotiation happening or that has to happen between us and others. So often we develop a sense of either or of lack of safety, of having to protect ourselves or having to abandon ourselves or having to take responsibility for others' well-being before ours can get looked at, cared for. And so, yeah, kind of the first category is that sense of having to abandon ourselves to be safe, to get connection. And so that can look a lot of different ways. It might be disassociating from ourselves, our bodies. It could be going into our heads for safety. It can be hypervigilance, constantly scanning for danger, thinking of the past, looking at the future to get a sense of safety. And there might be a lot of other ways to know that this is happening. I'm just going to list the ones that come to me. And then the second way we might lose our energetic sovereignty is when we energetically merge with others. So sometimes the self-abandonment can also entail merging, especially if we, like, once we leave ourselves, rather than just generally scanning the world, we might be like really tracking others and what, like, their micro expressions to get a sense of what they might be thinking or feeling. So that can be just tracking visually, but sometimes energetically we're merging with them. So there can be a combination of the first and the second. But just to keep things a little bit clearer, we'll imagine that we're still here, but we're kind of wide open. So we're wide open and we just let things in. So we're out in the world and all of a sudden it gets really overwhelming. This is especially common for people who are empaths or are highly sensitive. And so again, we might use that by leaving ourselves, going out there, or by just being wide open. And so then we feel what other people are feeling, whether they're with us or not. Sometimes people are geographically in a separate place and we might be sensing what they're sensing. And sometimes there can be a confusion where we're not sure what's ours, what's others. People pleasing can be connected to this, burning out. And then the third way that we can not be in our energetic sovereignty, and again, these can all be connected. So sometimes if we're really energetically permeable, we then feel like we have to wall off. Although again, they don't have to be connected. But if we somehow learn that being in connection to others is not safe, we might wall off. And that can be linked to a number of different things. It could be like anger issues and lashing out, or perfectionism, or self-reliance, or not needing anything. Perfectionism, isolation, mistrust, Sometimes it can show up as lack of empathy, care, self-absorption. It might look like narcissism. And so I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable, if they're open. Take a few deep breaths. And bring forth a time when you felt balanced, grounded, good. And it might be an actual memory, or you might just ask a grounded version of yourself to show you what that looks like, what that might feel like. It might be connected to a place. I know for many of us, we can feel most in our energetic sovereignty when we're in nature or possibly with animals or in meditation. Or with a loved one we feel really safe with, can be ourselves with, and just noticing what that feels like in your body. Noticing flow of energy, emotions, temperature, colors, maybe even feeling into the energy that surrounds your body, if you can get a sense of it, if it feels, yeah, what that feels like. And taking as much time as you want here, feel free to pause if you want to spend a little more time. And then if and when you're ready, maybe calling up a time recently when you knew you were not in your energetic sovereignty. And I forgot to mention it earlier, but depression and collapse can also definitely be part of it, especially with the self-abandonment and the merging, but really in any of the patterns. And so just noticing for yourself, and you might be calling up a specific memory or incident, or just generally asking yourself, oh, what does it feel like when I'm not in my energetic sovereignty? What are indicators of that? I know for some people, addictive patterns, checking out patterns are also ways of abandoning the self. And so just noticing for you, what does that feel like in your body, if you feel your body at all? And just asking that part of you that knows without needing to have a relationship, even with that part, just trusting that it's here. What are your indicators that you're not in your energetic sovereignty? And these indicators might be a physical sensation, a recurring pattern, a belief, a habit, a physical manifestation like digestive issues or headache or flare up of a chronic condition. And just noticing if anything comes up, if you're getting a sense of this. If not, that's totally fine. And asking yourself that wise part of self, soul self, higher self, if you're ready to release whatever residual patterns there are and call back permission to be in your energetic sovereignty. And you can ask that as one question or divide that question in two. Are you ready to release the patterns? Are you ready to return to energetic sovereignty? And if you get a yes to the first, but not the second, you might do the tap into your power video. If you get a no to both, then I'll link some other videos that might be helpful to do first. And you can also ask that inner knowing what might be blocking you, if it's a childhood wound, ancestral, karmic, it's a limiting belief, soul contract. And that might guide you to where to go for the releasing. And if you get a yes, let's just gather from our bodies, especially wherever you were feeling when you were in that second place of not being connected to your sovereignty. If you noticed any tension or disconnect or thoughts, just gathering wherever your hands are guided to and wherever you might have felt blockages. Just gathering any residue of the beliefs, the patterns, the coping strategies of playing small, of wanting to hide, of locking up your vulnerability, of taking on responsibility for others' well-beings, merging self-abandonment, walling off, whatever it might be. Let's just nod to those old patterns, knowing that they served you, they were there for a reason. They were just trying to keep you safe. And also recognizing that they are no longer serving you. And again, if you got a yes, if you didn't, maybe going back to some of the earlier videos, but if you got a yes, let's just return these patterns, these beliefs, these coping strategies, and any residue of the old wounds that got us here to love and light and energy and vibration and sound. Maybe sending it to any element you want, to the earth, to the sun, to the wind, to fire, to cleansing water. Whatever element wants to support you. You might also have guides that can help take this away from you. And releasing any cords, you can brush your body, you can cut the cords, whatever feels good, you can do both. And breathing in. On an exhale, imagine that you're just breathing out and sending back any energy that is not yours that you have taken in. And you can exhale with your mouth open, make a sighing sound if that helps. Take it out. Oh. Another way of doing that is to have one hand, the internal hand facing you, the external hand facing out, and just call back what's yours, hand back what's not. You can do that generally. You can do that with each chakra. And that's what I lead you in my energetic separations video. We can also do a little karmic car wash to make sure we've released all of that. That's just imagining there's soapy energy, just cutting through any residual energetic grease and stickiness that might still be clinging to you in your nervous system and any of your chakras or your organs. And you don't need to know where it's going. Then rinsing that off and fluffing out your energy fields. Another way of coming back to your energetic integrity can be you can just swivel your hands here so that your attention comes back to yourself. You're letting go of what's not yours, not taking things personally. You can also use your hands to feel your energetic boundaries. It can be a little bit harder in the back to do it with your hands, but you can do it with your mind, or you can dance around in a spiral. And just closing your eyes if they're open and just breathing that in. Sending energetic roots from the bottom of your feet deep into the earth. Feeling that protection from the earth. And calling sunshiny, celestial energy from above to come down and shower your field with golden light, or it might be white or blue or purple or green or any color that feels really cleansing and protective. And feeling how this is your sovereign energetic space. And really calling back through your crown full permission to fully inhabit your energetic space, your emotional space, your physical space, your voice, your power, your will, your creative energy, your life force energy. Feeling full permission to take up space, to exist, to be in the world, knowing that you inherently belong, that your beautiful, unique blueprint of self, your unique flavor is what you're here to shine with. Imagining that you are surrounded by this balanced, beautiful energy field, the outer edge of which is semi-permeable, like a cell membrane. So it's inherently designed to filter out anything that's not yours, to let in anything that's nourishing without your brain needing to be involved. You can cover the outer edge of it with any translucent color or colors that feel really good to your system, nourishing, safe, vibrant, whatever energy feels good to you right now. And feeling how the more we're in our energetic sovereignty, the more we can actually be interconnected with universal energies, source energy, and also have empathy for other humans because we're not taking their stuff personally, not feeling the need to personalize it, internalize it, or change it or protect ourselves from it. And feeling how in this interconnected sovereign space, you can step into the flow of life. Gracefully, easefully, joyfully, playfully, opening up to whatever magic the universe wants to send our way because we're present and receptive and trusting, not trying to manage and control or checking out or overwhelmed. Mm. Feeling how there might be an external storm and it might knock off a branch or two, but it doesn't derail your inner sense of self. You're staying rooted in the earth. Your branches reaching up towards the sky. Or whatever analogy resonates with you. If the tree doesn't fully resonate, really trusting your own knowing is such a big part of energetic sovereignty. And just taking external guidance to be exactly that, just a mirror, and we get to choose and discern what lands with us, connect to our own internal truth cord. Really opening to receiving any messages that this soul self version of you that's already living from this place might want to tell you, transmit to you. Could be verbal, but it might not be, or it might just be a sound or a color, a vibration, image, physical sensation, and inner knowing. And if your eyes were closed, slowly opening them. Looking around you and just noticing what it looks like to look at the world from within your own balanced, semi-permeable, beautiful energy fields where you are in your sovereign space with full permission to be you. Wow, grounded, connected to the earth, connected to celestial energies. Without needing to understand it, just feeling that perfect balance, if it feels accessible, between inner and outer self and other, yin, yang, left, right, front, back, top, bottom, human and spiritual, manifest and unmanifest. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me. And feel free to let me know how this went, what some of the ways you disconnect are, how it feels when you're in your energetic sovereignty. And as always, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for more videos on this topic.